Ravens. We talked about a lot about the Raiders. Let's talk about the Ravens. The Ravens basically gave the game to the Raiders last night. Let's just be honest. Not once, but twice in the fourth quarter alone, they had a 10-point lead on the Las Vegas Raiders. 3 times last season, they gave up 10-point leads in the first quarter to lose games. Actually, all the games that the Ravens lost last season, they blew at least a 7-point lead or greater in the fourth quarter. Then they go out and they sign Derrick Henry. They signed Derrick Henry because they, quote, they need a closer, right? They need their John Rocker. They need somebody to come in there and lock it down. Well, guess what? Ravens played the Kansas City Chiefs week number 1. They had an opportunity to close out the game to potentially win the game. Just give Derrick Henry the rock. Let him tote it. Fourth quarter, he touched it twice. 2 carries for Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Fast forward to week number 2. Las Vegas Raiders. All you had to do is basically milk out the clock. You were up 10 points in the fourth quarter, like 5 minutes left to go. You were up 10. 10 points. Derrick Henry touched the ball 1 time in the fourth quarter. 1 time. So when we look at the Ravens right now, they are 0-2. As I said earlier, teams that start 0-2 since 2019 have a 6% chance of making the playoffs. And let's just be honest, the Ravens had a pretty tough schedule as is this season. Dropping a game like to the Raiders is tough on the morale. So we got to ask the question, who is to blame for the Ravens' downfall so far this season? Is it Lamar Jackson? Is it Derrick Henry? Is it the loss of Patrick Queen? Is it Zay Flowers? Who is to blame? And I know you guys are thinking right now, Buck is going to blame Lamar Jackson. Buck is going to blame Lamar Jackson because that is the easy way to go. It is the easy way to go. 2-time league MVP, basically he wins and dies by the sword. Basically, you can say, but Lamar Jackson isn't the issue. Now, he's had some errant throws. He has some questionable miscues, if you want to say. He's had some this and that, but he is not to blame. The defense, they're ranked number 3 right now in the NFL. Right now in the NFL, the Ravens, our defense is ranked number 3. Gardner Minshew just put the ball in some places that I didn't know he could put it. Hamilton was there on the touchdown pass. I don't know who was guarding Davante Adams on the sideline, but it was great coverage. He was face to face. Davante Adams is just that guy. You can't blame the defense. You can't blame Derrick Henry. He's only touched the ball 3 times in the fourth quarter in two games. Stupid. So who is to blame? John nailed it right here. John Harbaugh is to blame. John Harbaugh is to blame for the Baltimore Ravens' malfunctions these 2 games. Lamar Jackson has never lost 3 games in a row. Well, guess what? He has now. AFC Championship game, week 1, week 2. And it's not because of the lack of play of Lamar Jackson. It's not because of the lack of play of the defense. It's not because of the lack of play of the offense or special teams or this. It's the lack of football IQ from John Harbaugh. It is the lack of big game awareness from John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh was 0-2 on challenges last night that cost the Ravens 2 timeouts. And these were challenges that were questionable at best. Everybody and their dog knew that Davante Adams caught that touchdown pass. Why would you challenge it? Everybody and their dog knew that Zay Flowers did not catch that ball. Why did you challenge it? Those are 2 timeouts that you could have had when you had 27 seconds left in the game to potentially win the game. Football awareness lacks in John Harbaugh. Football IQ seems to lack in John Harbaugh as well. Let me step back a little bit. He's a very smart coach. He's a good X's and O's coach. When he's leading, he has great football knowledge. But it seems like when it's crunch time and the butthole starts to pucker a little bit, his football IQ goes out the window. Guys, John Harbaugh is to blame for the Ravens' 0-2 start. It is not Lamar. It is not the defense. It's not the offensive coordinator. It's not Derrick Henry. It's not Zay Flowers. It's Jim Harbaugh. And I guess we're calling him Hardblow now. Jim Hardblow. Jim Harbaugh is to blame. So if we're blaming John Harbaugh for this 0-2 start, how do we fix it? Do we fire him? If you go 1-5, 0-4, 100%. Out with the old, in with the new. Mix it up a little bit. Super Bowl window is rapidly closing. Lamar Jackson's going to want those more Bills yell pretty soon here. Get him out of town. Or hire a, what's it called? A special assistant, right? A person that is up in the booth, in his ear, situational awareness. A person like Bill Belichick that has been there, done that. Just talk him off the ledge. Hey, don't challenge that. That's a terrible challenge. Hey, we have 2 timeouts. Don't use it here. Use your timeouts on defense, not on offense. Just something. But let's say they do fire Jim Harbaugh. Let's say it is time to move on from Jim Harbaugh. Potential coaches that are out there. Obviously, if he gets fired mid-season, the offensive coordinator is probably going to be promoted. That's just usually the way it is. But if the Ravens decide to move on from John Harbaugh and hire a coach, I think they got to hire an offensive-minded coach. Their defense is stout. Defense is locked down. Defense is great. Let's get a guy that's going to put some damn points on the board. Let's put a guy in there that has experience with a high-flying offense. Let's get a guy in there like Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. Let's get a guy in here like Frank Smith, Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator. Let's get a guy in here like Joe Brady. Literally turned around the Buffalo Bills season last season. Bills turned around last season, Joe Brady. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So what do you guys think? Who is to blame? When you look at the Ravens 0-2 start, who is to blame? Lamar, defense, Harbaugh. Who do you guys think? Jerome Butler's in the chat. What's up, Jerome? He says OC Mokum is responsible going back to the AFC Championship game. Well, Monken wasn't the offensive coordinator last season. Todd Monken was fired previous from the 2023 NFL season. Actually, I don't think Monken's on a NFL staff right now, to be honest. That's why the Ravens offense was so good last season, because Todd Monken was out. Actually, he might be in Charger land for all I know. I don't know. Casey says maybe Hardblow and Shays should go to football 1-on-1 together. Listen, I believe it was the AFC Championship game last season. Ravens versus Chiefs. Zay Flowers caught a big pass over the center of the field, almost basically locking up the win for the Baltimore Ravens, and he got a personal foul. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but Zay Flowers got a personal foul. Lack of football IQ, lack of knowledge, lack of discipline comes from the head coach. Zay Flowers basically cost them last season. Let's just be honest. Jerome Butler says absolutely refuses to run the ball when it's absolutely necessary, which is stupid. You brought Derrick Henry in for a freaking reason. Yes, I did say Derrick Henry's probably going to get 13, 14 touches a game. I did say that. But 3 touches in the fourth quarter in 2 games? What? What? Derrick Henry is a workhorse. Let him work in the fourth quarter. That's why you brought him in. That's why you brought him in. Oh, we need to save him for the postseason. Got to get there first. Right now, you got a 6% chance of making it. 6% chance. Laura says you got to get back to the basics is how to fix it. Put in a time frame over said person's head and say fix it or you're out. And you know what, Laura? That's what the Baltimore Ravens have done. The Baltimore Ravens historically are a very patient franchise. Much like the Cincinnati Bengals, they're happy with just being good. Not being great, not being, we just want to be good. Defensive coordinator is out. Obviously, Tom McDonald is now the Seahawks head coach. I believe he's 2-0 too. But the issue in Baltimore, we don't have enough receivers. Bring in receivers. We don't have enough running game. Bring in a running game. The offensive coordinator is the issue. Get a new offensive coordinator. At some point, the only thing you got to fix right now is the head coach. Got a new general manager. Got a new offensive coordinator. Got a new defensive coordinator. You got a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Zay Flowers could be a top 10 receiver in the NFL if he pulls his head out of his ass. You have a Hall of Fame running back in Derrick Henry. John Harbaugh is the only person you can't, it hasn't been changed yet. Casey says maybe the Chiefs should trade Wentz for Lamar. Ravens get a QB and the Chiefs get a running back. Ooh, slow it down, baby. Casey says the blame is on the coaching staff making the bad play calling. Yes, run the ball. There it is. Casey said Zay Flowers spiked the ball on Snead. I knew it was something. It was some taunting call, but I couldn't recall the exact details. But I knew he spiked the ball. Thank you for Casey. Great thing. Didn't he point at the cornerback and caught the ball? Yeah, he did. So guys, Ravens, panic or no? We'll talk about that tomorrow. We will talk.